get that money, secure that bag, ayy. Boss up, get that money, secure that bag, ayy. Boss up, boss up, boss up, get that money. She a queen and they love her cause she got her own place, own car, she let go.
Good morning, my people. Yo, let me hurry and get right up into this because y'all gonna be like, what? It's your girl, Shay Shay. Just turn my other phone on. From Simply Magnolias and Honey. Just a southern girl living life like it's golden. No matter how thick and sticky life gets, remember it is still what? Golden. Yo, do I have a story for y'all? For real. So, what had happened was I just posted the video editing little app on my phone only lets me so the video editing thing that I use, it only let me like do like 90-minute like little interval things or whatever, or videos. So I have to break my video up of the dream or whatever, right? About what happened in my dream. And I just posted a dream or whatever. So anyway, that dream was so wild. I'm sitting here still like in shock, right? But no. I was so psyched to get to bed last night. I was like, man, I can't wait to figure out if there's a part 2 to this thing. I was like, man, Spirit, like, look, like, where did I take my friend? And I was sitting here thinking, like, okay, after I flew up, what happened? Like, I was lost. So I went to bed. Sure enough, my little curl thing be messing up. There she goes. But I was like, okay. It's literally, it didn't necessarily pick up right after, but because I was sitting here looking like, okay, so how the world did I end up here? But I still couldn't find my friend. Maybe that might come tonight. I'm about to go to bed at 5 o'clock when it started getting dark, and then figured it out. Figure out what's going on, right? Okay, so let me find the page. So of course, you know, I write everything down, and this notebook is so full that I, of course, like when I write on one side, I leave the opposite page blank. So just in case, you know, to leave. There you go. Okay. Okay, so it starts off like this. I don't know where I dropped Deucey off, but I ended up back home in my room on my bed. Still stuck on what happened. As I'm sitting on my bed, I noticed that every time I blinked, I saw crystals. Okay, so you know, like how, like sometimes in those like anime movies, or those little animal cartoons, or like when you hit something, or just random cartoons, when you hit something, it like turns like these bright, like you kind of see stars sort of thing. But it was like every time I blinked, I saw like these like big like diamonds or something. Like I cannot describe it to you, for real. It was almost like, so I'm sitting in my room like this on my bed, and remember, this, for whatever reason, this window right here, remember from the last stream, this was the window confirming that I was supposed to be meeting my soulmate or whatever, and soon. And one of the confirmations was the butterfly came through the window, and I'm standing in a dark room. And then once I saw the butterfly, it was gonna fly. But for whatever, this window, something about this daggone window. And every time I look out the window, I can see the sun is right here. The moon be shining like directly, of course, like through my window. So, but anyway, so I'm sitting on the bed or whatever, right? But every time I like blink, I can see like these, the like flashbacks of like crystals or something. I can't describe it to you, but anyway. So, but everything became like really, really bright in here. It was almost like my eyes were like diamonds. And everywhere I looked within my room, so every dark spot, so that little lamp on my dresser is only kind of like, lighting from maybe about from me on that side. Everything else on my side of the room is kind of, kind of like it's only being lit by the natural light from the outside. But at this point, it was dark in my room. So my eyes became like these crystal looking things. And everywhere I like looked within the room, I lit the room up. So if I looked over here, my eyes would blink, and it would be like this glowing light in that section. I would blink on this section, it would be a glowing light on that section. And I basically end up doing it for the whole room. And so the room became very, very light, but it was pitch black out there. Let me continue. I had to prop my notebook up because I can't read, and it's like down here on my daggone lap. So, okay, so I'm on my bed. The window behind me was open. Remember, this window, for whatever reason, in these past two in these past two dreams, represent a portal, right? So, next thing you know, these big animals started coming through the wind, shorty. Can you imagine? But when they came through the window, they were window size. So can you listen? Can you imagine? Let me finish reading, because big animals started coming through the window. All of them were birds from that cave. It was the same daggone birds that I saw from that cave. Now remember, it was like prehistoric type stuff down there, like pterodactyl type birds. And listen, I am a dinosaur head, the triceratops, what's that thing called, the bronchiosaurus, the pterodactyls, the triceratops, the like all the what is it called, the big turtle with the spikes on his back. I can't remember that one. But it wasn't those type. It was only the birds. So it was only the birds from that cave. Minus one. So minus one other type of animal. I still looked the same from when I flew out the cave. the long hair, the extra strength and power. I can, like, literally, I can talk to animals. Now, let me backtrack real quick. Remember when I was explaining that when I got down to the bottom of the cave, I saw that big old, like, bass wide mouth fish floating in the water, like. And I remember I told you I can hear him talking English, but I have forgotten that quick what he said. Yo, I was sitting up here in my bed right because I was writing all the stuff down, and it hit me. Spirit was like, remember, he called you. So remember the Egyptian dream that I had from the one prior to that, where I told you that that general turned to me and was like, Queen Shalak. And I told y'all that that general turned to me and was like, Queen Shalakna. Why that fish called me that? I was sitting here on the bed and I was replaying the dream in my mind, and I was like, and all of a sudden, boom, the image of the fish was sitting like on the corner of my eye. And I can hear like spiritually, I can hear the fish said, like, was like, welcome, Queen Shalakna. He was like the freaking visitor, like, or the greeter, like, you know, like he looked like an old head, them little old heads that be standing up in front of Walmart, be like, you know, welcome to Walmart. Yeah, he was one of them. That's why I was so shook. I was sitting there staring at, like, did that joker just call me that? Like, how you follow me from the desert? Like, and shortly after he called me that, that's when the big Anunnaki looking dude appeared in the back of my, and behind me, and was like, it's so beautiful, isn't it? Now go find your friend before they do. And I was like, oh, okay. And then and I took off running, but of course, you know, he left. Okay, so that's what I wanted to kind of like reiterate, because I remember me saying that I forgot the fish was talking, but I couldn't remember what he said. But anyway, that blew me completely off. But anyway, so I still looked the same. Like, my skin, like it just looked like it looked brighter. My hair was way down past my freaking knees. Like like I was like glowing or something. But as the animals were coming through the window, of course they sounded like animals. The pterodactyls making that make that daggone noise. You know, you can hear like the other bird, all the little chitter chatter going on, and like all the small, like naturally smaller birds, they lined up all along the base of like my head, my footboard. They all, like, from like all the little ones, they all just lined up, and they all were staring at me. I'm like, what the world? And then my eyesight intensified. Like, these animals didn't look regular. I mean, to the naked eye, you would think, oh, that's a crow, or that's a vulture, or that's a bluebird, that's a jay, that's a pterodactyl, that's a owl, that's a this and that's a that. But to me, they look more humanized, like in like their souls were more like, they had a more like soulish look to them. And they were all staring at me, like waiting for me to say something, or like as if I was going to understand what the word they were going to say. So so they like sparkled. Yeah, so the animals, like, they had like this like glow or something about them, right? So these animals, mainly birds, huge in nature, were made small to fit through the window, but became regular size once in my room. But I was shocked, of course. The smaller of the birds lined up at the footboard, as I just said. There was a moose with the huge horns in the corner. So unnecessary. So let me see. Yeah, so anyway, the moose was standing over there in the corner as if he was like the bodyguard or something. Like the big joker was just standing, like his freaking antlers was like covering my whole daggone closet. Like I'm sitting there like, yo, it was so shocking to me. I was sitting there looking like I'm sitting there like all looking all proper, like, and they all watching me, like waiting on me to stand. And they were birds, like ostriches, like the peacocks, they were only birds, because birds represent messengers, because remember, like when they had the flood happen or whatever, and they kept sending the birds to go in and out to go see stuff. Or in the movie, remember the movie, Dr. Doolittle? Was it Dr. Doolittle? Yeah, where the birds would go back and forth, to see certain areas, and go follow the doctor or whatever, and then report back. So I guess in this particular part of the dream, I I don't know how the world they even knew where I lived at. For one, uh, that just blew me right there just now. Like, how did these jokers even know where I live at? Like, I found an underground spiritual cave looking thing where I was in their habitat. And then next you know, I flew up out their habitat. And now I'm sitting in my room to them coming. So now these jokers are in my habitat. And they're all standing at like a tin hut to me. When I tell you these birds were so daggone huge, I'm talking about like a regular blue jay. Them jokers are normally like this big. Now all the little birds again were lined up, but the bigger birds, they were standing like their heads were come. Okay, my bed is pretty big, yo. So now their head was like was at like within eye view to me, but their little feet, their little was on the ground. So I'm standing there looking at the bird looking at me, and I'm looking at the daggone moose. And mind you, I'm still in shock about, man, yo, it looked like I had a daggone bird sanctuary in my house. For real. I was still sitting there like, what? So anyway, the rest were all kinds of birds, like very exotic looking, like something you would never find like in this realm of like Earth. They all turned to me and started to stare. Okay, first, when you first get on the bus, everybody, chitter chat. And then once the bus started moving and going, or once the conference or something, like you normally go to a conference or a concert, everybody's, live now, everybody, meet and greet, everybody want to talk to you, meeting each other and what have you. And then once the show, or once the concert, seminar, conference, whatever starts, or service, whatever starts, now everybody be quiet. The last bird came through the window. So then, okay, and they said they all turned to me and started to stare. So to stare. So through my TV reflect, y'all, through my TV reflection, I can see two huge birds on my shoulders. So I'm looking at my TV like, is that what I think I see? So I just happen to do one of these numbers like, yo, on my right shoulder was an owl. This beaut this beautiful bird, yo, was like, I did one of these. Its eyes were so piercing. it looked like you, like if I looked at it, it was gonna, like, telepathically, it can, like, literally, like, talk to me. You know, it was full of wisdom. It stood. Now, mind you, I'm in shock, so I wasn't paying attention to two freaking 3 feet tall birds on my shoulders. I'm gonna get to the other one in a minute. On my shoulders, but and it stood on my shoulders, whatever. But its eyes were full of wisdom, as if it couldn't wait to say something. But I'll get to that. On my left shoulder stood an eagle, about the same size, had to be about 3 feet. But they weren't heavy. Like, they weren't heavy. Like, that's why I didn't really, couldn't feel them. Immediately after I noticed their presence, I began to hear a lot of talking. Like, okay, y'all remember that movie Bruce Almighty, where he was like, "Oh God, I can take your place." And then what's that man name? Is it Samuel Jackson? That's not Samuel Jackson. Morgan Freeman. That's his name. Morgan Freeman was like, "Oh, all right, you basically about to hear all the prayers of the world, right?" And it sounded like talking was like he was just getting, like, thoughts from prayers from everybody, and he was so overwhelmed, right? That's how it was. My room was filled with birds. Their beaks were not moving, but telepathically they were all talking to me at the same time, but they were talking in English. And it was like, and guess what? And all the little ones, and then it sounded like I was in a freaking baseball stadium where everybody is talking at the same daggone time. But it wasn't until, okay, now again, during the moment, all the birds, those two birds were the last two to come through that window, evidently. Because again, during all that time, all I heard was like actual bird sounds, right? I'm still in shock, and all I hear is beep, 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 beep. So again, I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden, it was like and that's when it switched to people talking. And I was like, bro, and I'm trying to figure out, like, why am I hearing all these folk talking, but ain't nobody, and there's no human person in here. And so, but then that's when I noticed the two birds. So apparently these two birds ushered in the fact of me being able to telepathically talk to these birds. And for whatever reason, when these two birds sit on my shoulder, they're like my guides, so to speak. So they are the ones that can be able to, okay, so they're the ones that can be able to show me certain things about what's going on. And apparently I'm supposed to be, they are going to be communicating with them. And then these two birds are going to be able to tell me, okay, what is it that I need to be doing? The same thing in the Egyptian dream. When I was dreaming about being Queen Shalakna, and I was sitting on that big old like throne type chair, I had these two big tail cats sitting next to me. But the cats were not regular cats. They were like human legs, human bodies, but they were human, like they were human bodies. And I'm gonna look up, matter of fact, I'm gonna Google what they're called, because they are a real alien species. Like they are they're real beings. But they sat like cats, but they were humans, and they sat like this. And I was sitting on this big tail chair. And remember that big dude that was in the Egyptian dream? He was sitting like a couple of seats down, or like the next seat next to me. But these two big tail cat people were sitting at the like on both sides of me. And they were the ones like my protection, or so to speak, or whatever. And but what is so wild is, like, I keep this journal. I've been keeping this journal since the first date that I've been writing, like dreams and stuff down, and stuff that I've been hearing lately. The first date was June 20th of 2022. So from June, I've been like just keeping this notebook full of like confirmation, synchronicities, angel numbers, dreams, visions, like stuff that I've been like just keeping note of. Oh, I saw an orb today. These little flying little saucer type looking things just floating in the air. And every time I look back at it, they would fly away. Or I can be, and sometimes when I'm in my room, people are like, oh, you talk to yourself. I think I'll be talking to my higher conscience self. There you go. That's another word I can't say. So, because every time I talk to myself like that, somebody else, either it be like on TikTok, whether it be out in the public, where somebody else will confirm the very thing that that me and self was just taught. Like, it's like when you're on the same frequency, when a bunch of people are on the same frequency, and then y'all are all thinking the very same thing. Just like when everybody's worshiping the same God, or you're all worshiping on the same frequency, or you're all on the same thought process. Everything comes out the exact same thing that you had just said. Like literally almost verbatim. That's how you know you are aligned with what God wants you to do. And eventually you're going to start meeting people. It's going to be so, man. That's why I tell y'all, this is a lifestyle. This took me a long time to get where I'm at. Like I said, I've always been weird. Or like the type of like, oh Shay, you so crazy. I've always been misunderstood. And people always thought I was crazy, or they always like, girl, you so silly, or they were like, you know. But now I love it. Like, this is so exciting to me. This, man, I can't wait till I really start seeing like stuff like if those birds really would have showed themselves, like showed their presence, like in real, oh boy. And I know that's coming soon. I know, like actual astral beings are going to start presenting themselves to me. But anyway, when I get in my room and I start talking to myself like that, and I start talking to my higher conscious self, my higher self, it's, look, I even got the necklace or the bracelet, Earth Angel. I told y'all I was an alien for real. But anyway, so on this particular date, July 9th of 2022, I was reading a post, and this girl posted about, eagles and owls. And she said, eagles are connected to strength, ferocity, focus, and willpower. Basically saying, I can weather the storm and rise above conflict. What I do when I came out that cave, I rose, right? Okay. Owls. Owls represent what? Wisdom and knowledge, amazing eyesight, They see what others can't. They represent transition and time. I have the focus, the wisdom, the knowledge to see things from a different perspective and put together pieces that others have missed. It was said, be more quick on my feet on how to use my knowledge to my advantage, but also at the same time, be quick to listen and slow to speak. I wrote that back in July. 7 represents the number of, I don't like using that word luck, but the number 7 is basically saying, it's saying like luck is on your side basically, but it says that I'm on the ultimate spiritual path. Inner strength, release all fear, be strong at heart, look forward to the future. But I don't, like I said, I don't rock with that luck, because nothing, you're never lucky, because there is no such thing as coincidence. But the number 7 is the number of perfection. Okay. Angel number 7 in particular is a very positive sign. It can be interpreted to mean many things that appear good and beneficial in your life. There are 7 days in a week. They say, God took 7 days to put, the earth together. The happy number 7 has many meanings associated with it. These include the 7th astrological, spiritual awakening, good luck, enlightenment, intuition, spiritual guidance from guardian angels. All of these can put you on the right path. As with any magical number, the meaning of the prime number 7 is determined by its repeating sequence, like the 7th day of the week. Well, like I just said that. But anyway, so basically the number of perfection. So I got that message back in July, number 7. Now, I just had this dream in the month of November, number 11. Remember, number 11 represents chaos and disarray and dysfunction, but organized chaos and dysfunction. So basically, everything that feels like it's crumbling and confusing, like you don't know which, like you like, what the world, like, how does this puzzle piece fit with this puzzle piece, and how did I do this, and why am I losing that, and why this person walk away, well, why did I just automatically figure that I'm gonna stop talking to that person? Like, everything, God says, everything that has ever happened to you is working together for the greater good. So whatever has left, whatever you unconsciously let go, let it go. Everything can't go with you. So I really believe that I'm about to walk this. Oh my gosh. Every time I talk, I start getting more and more of like a freaking like revelation. It's like that owl and that eagle came into my number 11 of November of this month to basically confirm with me, like, Shay, girl, you are on a spiritual path of wisdom, knowledge, focus. Girl, you don't have time for strength. This past couple of years or so, where'd I write that at? But these past like few years or whatever, It's like telling me, like, Shayla, you are about to embark on the biggest journey you have ever, ever, ever embarked on. And all the chaos and the hell and the confusion and the rejection and the lies being told on you, everything that you had ever went through that you thought was going to, like, you thought you was literally about to go through a mental suicide, the death of your daughter. Now I look at it as a spiritual rebirth. That, don't take this the wrong way. Trust me. That's the reason why I have a lot of children. Like, I'm going to get back to that point. But her dying opened my mindset to another perspective of life. Her dying rebirthed something in me that I never thought that I had. I'm so much stronger mentally because of that death. It rebirthed something in me that I said, on this day forward, I decree and declare that I will never allow somebody else to take away from me my inner joy, my inner peace, my kindness, my love, and never allow them to conform the way that they want me to, or whatever the case is. They want me to fit into this narrative, this box. Never will I ever allow anyone to take me out of my character. Never ever will I allow anyone. My baby died March 26th of 2019. My marriage blew up in my face May 1st. Five months later, in August, the number of 8 is the number of new beginnings. I found out that I was pregnant with my son. So can you imagine going through a death to another death of a failed marriage to then a birth of life to now a rebirth of myself? I had to take my own self back through my own womb, if that makes sense. If you kind of understand what I'm saying or understand what I'm saying. I had to die to myself in order for me to gain this queendom that I'm about to walk into. You understand? That eagle and that owl represented strength, ferocity. People already be thinking, oh, she got a RBF, resting face. People be thinking I'm so intimidating, and I've been told that, but but y'all know I'm goofy as all get out though. If you really don't judge, like if you really take the time to really talk to people, sometimes I'm the most goofy, man. I will have you rolling for real. Like, I'm the most goofiest person, but I don't have to tell you that. I don't have to go out and be like, oh, I'm so fun, guys. Pick me. I need a friend. Eagles, again, represent strength, ferocity. Like no fear. Focus and willpower. I had the willpower to fight through that water to go find my friend, and the strength to wrap my hands around that joker and fly up. I can weather any storm and rise above the conflict of it. What am I scared of? Nothing. What intimidates me? Nothing. when you start to realize who it is that you are, and you start to walk in your calling, and you start to realize like what your purpose and then your mission is. Look, like honestly, can't nobody stop you. Nobody can stop you. The most dangerous person on the planet Earth is the one that has nothing to lose. You done took my child away from me. A marriage, regardless of if it was for me or not, it's no longer there. My self-esteem was shot. My my confidence, I was, when I tell you I was broken, I was broken. I can finally talk about my daughter's death without crying now. I can talk about being rejected and cheated on and lied to over and over and over again without crying. I can look my ex in the face and have a whole conversation with him and not feel anything. I can joke. I can talk. I can have a whole decent conversation and not have no feeling. That took a lot of inner work. That took a lot of dying to myself. That took a whole bunch of crying and screaming out to God in my car. That took a whole lot of comparing myself to the ones he chose. That took a whole bunch of like, but if I should have did this, if I would have did this better, that it took a whole bunch of that. It took for my son to walk in on me trying to commit suicide. It took for me to literally be surrounded by demons and hearing them tell me to just end it all. Kill yourself. You ain't worth it no way. You weren't supposed to be here anyway. You were supposed to die at birth anyway. Nobody ever loved you. Give up. You ain't that cute anyway, remember? You're fat now, remember? You got all them kids. Ain't no guy gonna want you. You don't got no friends. End it. My son kept walking in and out that room. Every couple of minutes. Mommy, you okay? And eventually I had to scream at him like, get out. And I had to tell these voices, shut up and leave me alone. Like the voices were so loud. It felt like it felt like a legion of them. And legions mean thousands upon thousands of them. I never forget, I was sitting over there at that desk. It's full of boxes and stuff over there now. And I was about to use my freaking I can't remember if it was my phone charger. I can't remember. But the voices were so loud. I was screaming, I was crying. I just told her, shut up and leave me alone. God, please just give me rest. It took a whole bunch of strength. It took a whole bunch of willpower. It took a whole bunch of focus to get past these past 4 years. Owls represent wisdom. I said that. Knowledge, amazing eyesight, not necessarily eyesight meaning naturally to the physical touch, tangible things. Eyesight meaning spiritual things. That's why owls can see in the dark. They're nocturnal. They're up all night. So when the rest of the world is asleep, they're up. That's when all the night activity happens. Owls are very spiritual. They see what others can't see. That's why I said it's a spiritual thing, not naturally. I have the focus, the wisdom, the knowledge to see things from a different perspective now. I'm able to put puzzle pieces together. That's why in the last dream, I think it's now, this had to be maybe about 5 videos ago now, when my coworker walked up to me after I spoke light into that woman, and all of a sudden, she walked up to me and she was like, "How did you know?" Then she just started crying out, and I have not seen that woman since. But whatever I spoke to her soul, and everything that I spoke out to her, she just began to melt. Like, you can just feel. And I just said, "Baby, I just pray peace over you." And my coworker walked up to me and was like, "Shayla," he said, "you are a light everywhere you go. You are very special." And that literally melted me. This dream wasn't just about me floating down or climbing down into some rocks, into some sparkling water, and being like a daggone Wonder Woman and shooting back up into the air like Storm. What followed next, I had no idea. Them animals followed me from the the depth of the core of the earth, and followed me to my room and stood at attention, waiting for me to give orders to them or something. Like they're waiting for me to say something back to them. And I'm pretty sure that dream is going to pick up where it left off tonight. And I'm going to have a part 4 to this Joker watch. That's why I started vlogging. If you go all the way back to my first videos, those were more so about like, okay, y'all, get your life together, get your house in order, let's build this character, all of that. It was more so about, me trying to promote my book as well, Humble Pie, and about a lot of the things that I had gone through, before this period of time, of course. And a lot of the lessons that I have learned, but me reading a few chapters and stuff like that over time to y'all. And as you can see, the transitioning even in my thought process has gotten more mature. Even I'm still all over the place sometimes, and I get that. That's something that I have to work on. But when my thoughts come, I have to say certain things, because a lot of times what I say is going to touch somebody's soul. And if I don't say it, I felt like I missed the opportunity for that person to catch what they were supposed to catch. That's why when it comes down to like if I go to a conference or a seminar or something like that, and somebody's, "Oh, can I read your notes?" No. Or can I copy off your notes? No, I'm sorry. No. Because if me and you are in the same room, the way my mind thinks intellectually, and I'm analyzing different things, and then I see things from a different perspective spiritually and all this other type of stuff, I combine all of those aspects literally in one thought, and I write them down to my understanding. And if if you're not on that same page mentally, you gonna write like the basic stuff down. And if we were to, and we both sitting in the same class, and me and you both taking notes, what I have written down, you would have thought that I was sitting in front of a daggone professor, and you sitting in front of a daggone kindergarten teacher. it's not going to be the same. Our intellects are not the same. So when it comes down to people like, oh, can I use your notes and stuff? No, because what I grasp from what that man is saying is something that I needed to hear in that moment. So it was a seed planted for me to get whatever I needed to get. So whatever you need to hear, then it should have touched your soul and you would have wrote that down. But again, we not on the same page. So that's not gonna work. Uh but y'all, this old ripped up paper. But if that blew my mind for real. That blew my mind for real. That's why, like, I'm at the point in my life, yo. Like, in all honesty. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, the other day, yeah, I did have me a little mini breakdown. Because, you know, it does get overwhelming being a single parent of, you know, a lot of children. You're trying your best, and sometimes it just feels like, you know, you're at your wits' end. You don't get no help. And then you're battling certain things. Like I said, I just got out the hospital, and you're battling certain things, and it's just like, you know, you don't want to tell nobody because, you know, you just like, look, I don't have time for, I'm not no charity case. Don't be, listen, oh, well, you should never had all them kids anyway. Well, I wasn't planning on getting no divorce either. I wasn't planning on being single either. But sometimes in life, you have to make the executive decision. That's where the ego comes in at. That's where the ego comes in at, where it's saying like, you have to make decisions in your life that are beneficial for you and yours only. And remember, them eagles, they have eyesights. The owls, like I'm telling you, like these two animals, this is such of a timely dream that I just had. And like I said, or as I was getting ready to say, normally, like, a lot of things will start getting to me, like, you know, this do that. Well, actually, no, normally it never really got to me. And, you know, and he used to get so mad at me. You act like you just don't care, because I always had faith enough to believe, like, it's gonna get done. Like, if I don't have the willpower right now to change it, like, why I'm gonna stress over it for what, you know? So I was like, man, regardless, it's gonna get done. So just live. It's already ghetto enough that we got to come to this old funky tail planet. Can't even barely breathe. Ain't supposed to be breathing this foolishness in the first place. Then gotta pay. You gotta come down here, and we gotta pay to live. Then you got these jokers act like they so much superior, but they done stole everything from everybody. Shoot. And then want to turn around and act like we the pro. Yeah, all right. It's already ghetto enough. Why add to it? But anyway, look. So, but just by me getting this timely dream, and especially for such a time as this, we in the last 2 months of this year. (2023). If you ain't connected with me, come December 31st. If we have not connected, as it, like, if I'm still here in this house and I ain't made my move yet, and we ain't connect yet. Nah, for real. Not for real. No, for real. For real. No, for real. I'm being so serious. Yeah. I I can't. Everybody's not meant to go with you where you going. And if I have not connected with you yet, or we've been connected, but I saw that you were doing more taking than giving. I saw that you was moving a little different. I saw that you was, oh, all right. So, and I had to do one of these numbers. Just know that it's going to stay like that. Respectfully. It is. Because I'm not doing no backtracking. Yes, I'm one of them. It's the aqua in me. For real. And truth be told, I'm one of them that I would act like you never existed. Like I said, I don't be meaning to be mean. I don't mean to be rude. But when I give you me and you fumble that bag, baby, for real? And I already got enough on my plate, and I'm already carrying a whole dump truck of stuff. And I take time out of my day, out of my life, to see what you got going on, to see if I can do anything for you, and you fumble it. Ain't gonna be none of this. It ain't gonna be a whole lot of this. It ain't gonna be a whole lot of explaining, but I just want to. You will look up and I'm not there no more. You're gonna realize. Because spiritually chosen people, if you manage to get in earth angels, star seeds, chosen person, child of God, whatever words you want to use, if you manage to get one of these type of people, one of me's, into your life as a friend, associate, a lover, a wife, a girlfriend, apprentice, an employee, a boss, a business owner, a partnership, a collaboration, whatever it is, and you think that you're gonna try to take somebody's kindness for weakness, as if, oh, they weak-minded, oh, they need me right now, so I'm gonna just go ahead and that chosen person. Because trust me, the spiritual team can read your whole vendetta, can read the whole motive as to why you are trying to slither. Yeah, I said that right. Slither your way into that person's life. They know the real deal. While us chosen people be like, I just want to give you the benefit of the doubt. Why in the back